Hi, this is Betsy Kepke, mompreneur and personal transformation expert. I'm wondering, have you ever had the feeling that you have untapped potential inside of you that if you had the time and space to explore and discover that you could be living a more fulfilling life? I'm excited to share with you today that just little tiny mindset shifts and behavioral habitual shifts can really allow you to unlock and explore parts of yourself no matter what you have going on in your life. So I know that it can feel like, oh my gosh, Betsy, I've got way too much on my plate at this phase of life that I'm in to take any time or space to discover aspects of myself. May feel too indulgent. And I'm here to tell you, me too. When I took my deep dive into self-exploration and really started listening to like this whisper of this little girl, that 11-year-old girl maybe, that was starting to speak to me, I had a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old. I was working part-time as a psychologist in the public schools, and I was in it. I was in the thick of it. So here is what really helped me, is that I was able, like I said, to just make these tiny mindset shifts that really started to result in dramatic behavioral shifts in my lifestyle. And one of the biggest shifts that I made up here was the value of putting myself on the top of my to-do list. And really starting to work with my own internal dialogue and really own statements like, you can't pour from an empty cup, Betsy. You can't pour from an empty cup. You really can't. You can for a while, but when that cup runs out, there ain't nothing left. You really do need to put your oxygen mask on first before you're going to go in and rescue and help anybody else. So when I really started to take those messages and really get that internal dialogue going for myself, that's when I started to carve out time for yoga, carve out time for reading, like personal growth stuff, carve out time for learning more about mindfulness and meditation. And once I started getting, results for myself, I started to work with others who got similar results. So we had Elizabeth, who started her own co-working women's space because that was the 11-year-old girl that lived inside of her. We had Katie, a mom of 3, stay-at-home mom of 3, who realized that what was dormant inside of her was this organizational tidying expert, and that woman went out and got trained by Marie Kondo, right? We have Kylene, who started her own aesthetics business. We have Michelle, who started running again, like realizing, oh my gosh, I need to start running again. That fuels my soul. And then from there, she started writing again, and just it unfolds when, Oprah talks about that little whisper. When you start to carve out more time and space for that little internal whisper, it really dramatically can shift how you're showing up in your own life and for the people around you. Now, I know that there's these myths that it's selfish, especially as a mom, as a woman and as a mom, it's selfish to put yourself in the top of the to-do list. And this was like I said, this was the biggest barrier in my own thinking that I had to overcome. And when I really started to realize that it's selfish not to, if I don't show my kids a different way to live, to be, to take care of my own needs, to cultivate a healthy lifestyle for myself, to live my true purpose, to live my bigness, how am I going to be modeling that for them? How are they going to learn that? Because our words don't necessarily teach. It's how we show up in our own lives. So that was a real motivator for me. That was a real incentive. Like, what do I want to model for my children? Especially right now in the cultural context we're in, right? In the Me Too cultural situation we're in, and what we're realizing and what's being unearthed. And so I'm going to give you that challenge, because here's what the research says, ladies, that when a woman invests in herself, when a woman invests time and money and thought and energy in herself, everybody benefits. I mean, this is shown time and time and time again with the research. Less people go hungry, better education, better healthcare, better financial distribution for all, because we have this nurturing capacity to look at the collective. So why wouldn't we begin to value ourselves differently? And that starts with this resource right up here, our thoughts. So I challenge you to start switching that neural networking, that internal dialogue in your mind. Start using those phrases that I can't pour from an empty cup. I really do need to put my oxygen mask on first to really be of service to myself and others. It's a must that I carve out time and space to take care of myself. So go ahead, share this video with any woman in your life who you think might need this message right now, and please feel free to comment below on what's happening for you, what phrases you're coming up with, because my goodness, there's so many phrases that we could benefit from, and I know that there's ladies out there already practicing this. And just share what you come up with, because it's going to benefit the whole collective, and we need it right now.